Boom, hit the button. Do the thing.
Brain mode. There we go.
Hey, it fucking worked first try, too. Look at that. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. This is episode 24? We had 24 already?
We got this far.
Oh my god. We're at episode 24 of Adventures from Amethil. Housekeeping stuff. Not really a whole lot. Obviously, we got the new cards up that were here last week that are all customized towards each player, which are super dope. I got new alerts up. So, new sub-alerts, new follow alerts. There's a custom alert if you use channel points and get stream loot stack. And then I have the start for custom alerts for all of the channel point stuff, so it at least now says it in chat, so that way I don't miss any. But I don't have like custom animations for them just yet, but that's coming. Yeah. What else? Anything else? I don't think I got anything else. I don't. Who's doing recap?
Anyone?
All of a sudden, Sid's gone.
The person that sent a message in group chat saying that they're preparing for recap.
If I don't prepare for recap, nobody's ready for recap. It's a joke.
I'm ready for recap every week. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah. Last session was a pretty basic session. We had 8 days of travel and crafting and identifying magic items. And then we finally made our way all the way back to Trudid. At first we approached with caution and are double checking that there is not death knights at the gates, which thankfully there weren't. We all make our way up and over to the guild hall and inside, where we are greeted by Nell's mother being, "Are you okay? Everything okay?" Checking them over before she says, "Well, Quillwise hasn't slept in 3 days," and we all go to talk to him. And he goes, "Where's Desmond?" That's when the rest of us noticed that Desmond didn't follow us into the guild hall. There's a crudely drawn map of Amethil with X's over the sites that have already been destroyed or attacked by all of the words. Hag Countess folk. Cult-like people stuff. We don't know. We haven't really figured that much out. And Quillwise is attempting to figure out some form of a pattern, rhyme, or reason to any of this nonsense. And none of it really makes too much sense to him. And as he's talking, he looks over at Nell and goes, "You do something different with your hair?" Nell's very confused until he hands them a mirror, and they see that there are large streaks of white all throughout their hair, which they were completely unaware of. They ask the guys in surprise how long the hair's been like this and why didn't nobody tell them. Roddrick says, "Thought you knew." Crane says, "I'm too short." Desmond is absent. In fact, is just there as his familiar Ava watching. After the commotion of Nell's slight panic attracts the attention of her mom, she's like, "Oh, this is normal." And Nell's like, "For who? I'm only 132. I shouldn't be growing gray." She's like, "No, it's normal for shadow marked. You're fine. It just means that you've gained more power or had multiple brushes with death. You haven't had lots of near-death experiences. Have you? Cue worried mother. And yeah, we have had lots of near-death experiences, and it just is Nell's heritage starting to peek through. We are informed that Nell's father theorized that the Shadow Touched become closer to the Raven Queen with each brush with death, and so their Shadowkai heritage starts to appear more as they return to the Shadowfell. Maybe. It's all a guess. Yeah. Nell's like, well, let's all go back to the barracks. And I'm gonna take a shower because we haven't taken showers since we left the sewers. And prestidigitation is not enough. It doesn't feel like enough. So they run off to go bathe and think about their weird hair situation. Thrain goes to look for Desmond, who isn't very far. He's right outside the guild hall on the stairs, having watched all this through Ava's eyes. And this turns out to be more about from back when Desmond had burned his tabard of the Eclipsean Order, when he thought that we weren't protecting the people by letting half-goblins live. But a lot have changed since then, and the tabard that he had slightly burned has been fixed and then was handed to Kip when we welcomed him to the Order. And with all that, Thrain says, like, it's okay, you're welcome in the guild hall, and gives him his own tabard, which Desmond accepts and holds close to his chest and thanks him. Which reminds me, we still need to see a photo of Desmond in a crop top tabard. After everybody gets settled back in their places and Kip's given a bunk, Desmond helps Lessie, who is Nell's mother, cook dinner, and we all sit down. There is the usual toast is given of the Eclipsean Order by Nell, and then there is a very serious talk about what direction to move in from here and how to adjust their tactics instead of being responsive and waiting for letters to come in, to start taking the steps to ensure that the nation of Amethil does not fall into the wrong hands, as there are multiple not-so-great powers that are starting to battle for the kingdom's rule, since the former king is missing. And although, no, they don't have truly the right to say what is best for the nation, they'll be damned if they're going to allow it to end up with someone that they don't deem worthy. And so, there's a lot of big talks about the way things are going to work from now on. And then we also move over to talking about the mission of us Abyskist and how to navigate that. There, with all of the different original settlements that are starting to be attacked while the search for the fragments of the crown is taking place by those supporting the Hag Countess, that we're going to stop chasing them and start heading to locations that we don't know of them going to yet to see if we can find these runes or these fragments of the crown to try to get one step ahead. After much discussion, we say we're going to head first to Dune Scroll, then Sandscale. Possibly make our way over to Carrion Crawl and over to Waylow. That was fun. And we all go to get settled in our rightful places. Desmond notices that Nell's mother had cleaned his room, or tidied it rather, and now he has to put everything back where it belongs. Nell presents the original members of the Eclipsean Order with the brooches they had commissioned from the gold of that had melted the day that the rest of the order perished, along with a large crest to hang above the graves of those who have been lost. And I can't quite remember if there was a cliffhanger or if it just ended with all of us starting to go to bed.
Do we put it above the graves, or was it table?
Where they had fallen. Like where they were being laid to rest was what I had said.
Yeah, in the actual the cemetery within Trudid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and there was no cliffhanger per se. It was just kind of ending on that moment, with the realization of today, when everyone wakes up, it's business. Everybody knows what they need to do and got to start doing it. So thank you for recap. You have your fate point for that, which I never cleared it from last week, so it makes it easy, just nice and lazy on my part. But that's where we're gonna pick it up tonight. So this is your first night back in the order. First night back in the guild hall. Everyone's together. After everyone has dinner, again, this is kind of one of those things of, even though you're all together all the time now, like, there's something about being in this guild hall that evokes a different type of emotion, whether that be like your patronage for it or like your sense of duty that you feel when you're there, but something about being in this guild hall kind of adds like a realism to everything that's going on. And for the first time since you were back in Windpoint, really, you guys actually got to sleep in beds. And these would be familiar beds that you've all, put your own pillows, your own blankets. Like, it's actually set up in the way that you enjoy to sleep. So this would be the first time in months that you've been able to enjoy your own bed. What's everybody's plan? Anybody plan on waking up early? Everybody plan on sleeping in? What's going to be the deal?
Sleeping in.
Mm-hmm.
Nell is waking up early and going straight to their morning drilling. Partially in the way they were trained to do it, in that they're not completely naked, but they're stripped down into like just shorts and they're binded up top, so they're feeling more of the "you are in touch with everything" thing.
What about Desmond?
Desmond's gonna get his 3 hours, change his artificer tool. Then after his long rest, he's gonna get up and start doing some research.
Okay. On anything in particular?
He's changing his tool to the Tinker's tools
Okay.
and just, well, I guess would he would be working on that weapon if it's plausible that he can make it. If not, then
I would say it's plausible that you could make it, but I think that we need to probably go outside the normal crafting. Like, I don't feel like that would be something that you'd be able to just get one success and be able to nail out in a day.
I'm not doing any kind of crafting right now. He's doing research on it.
Okay. So I think that I'm cool with that idea. I actually really like the idea of it. So let's do, we'll do something similar to how we did Roddrick learning how to make the ammo. So let's make it where, like, you have to actually fully vet out, like, how did Desmond come up with the idea?
I guess during his meditation, he thought back of the last time we were here in Trudid. And in that short time from the last time we were here to us coming back now, the dangers and the amount of conflict that we had, he just feels like what he has and what we're going up against, he's ill prepared.
Okay.
And working with Thrain with the daggers and working with Roddrick with his pistols, he has a little bit of more know-how with this kind of thing, especially on the road, upgrading both of Roddrick's pistols the way he did.
Okay.
So he would just be doing research on that.
Okay. I added something to the bottom of your actions tab. Well, to the bottom of your weapons section of your actions tab.
Okay.
So we'll start doing that, and that'll be you sort of doing your research.
Okay. Do I do the roll with it, or do I do the Omni tool?
No, you still do your Omni tool. That's just for tracking.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just kind of blacken, Scantron it. Everything you do, Scantron it. Okay, so let's call tonight's is going to be, you had the vision of it, and then we'll start working on that during downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thrain. As you fall asleep, you find yourself within that same dream again, where you're sitting at the table, your family is surrounding you, they're welcoming you home. The door bursts open, and there's this powerful dwarven figure standing there that you would recognize as your deity. And he begins talking about your accomplishments and about how you've served him well. And he pulls up a chair and he sits down at the table. And where it ended at last time you seen this, it continues this time. And he begins talking to you as if you died. And he tells you that, you've served me well. Your years of dedication have strengthened my presence on the material plane. You fought well, and you died well. Your family is very proud of you. And you hear sort of this cheer erupt at the table as everybody grabs their tankards and raises a glass. And as the tone of the room begins to die down a little bit, he leans forward and he says, "And though you may not know it, your father is proud of you too." And as you sort of look around, you do notice the absence of your father at the table. And as he says that, you immediately wake up.
Pretty much sit straight up, cold sweat. Look around. Is this after Nell had left?
Yeah. So this is after. Oh, you mean in the morning for work for doing the training? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do I see anyone there? Or is it just me?
If you're in like the barracks area, Roddrick's passed out snoring still, and in Quick Fingers would be like on one of the bunks off to the end. He'd be asleep as well. But outside of that, you don't see anyone else.
Leaving my armor off, I'll wander out, see if Nell is in her usual sparring spot. And if they are, ask to spar.
Yep. And they are. Doing push-ups at the moment. Like, got 12 more, and then absolutely.
Nods and starts stretching to not hurt himself. Then, as they're sparring, he'll ask, "Did I tell you what I saw in that prison before Desmond woke me up?"
No, you didn't tell me anything about that. As they're just like parrying your blows. We're having this nice calm conversation while still like
Mm-hmm. I saw Morden. He greeted me at my family's table.
good for Nell. Nell just kind of lowers their shield. Like, huh. I thought he was dead.
You get a particularly hard strike towards you.
Oh, come on. You know that there's all sorts of things like that that happened. Well, congratulations on your god recognizing your existence. What the hell happened?
He didn't say much that time, but he said my fight wasn't over. And that's when I woke up. But last night, it continued. And it made it seem like I was dead. That my journey was done.
it was the message that he was initially intending to give before Desmond saved you.
But why now? Why do I get it these
Over a
2
week
weeks later?
Yeah.
He mentioned that my father was proud of me. My father wasn't there, so maybe that's a good sign.
Was everyone that was present at the table in the dream people you have lost?
The majority of my family was there.
So more than likely it is, in fact, a good sign that he wasn't there, considering it was all those you have lost. But
why was I there?
I don't
I'm
know.
here.
Yes, you are, but you are a death domain cleric, perhaps. Hell, I apparently get white hair because I died. Maybe you get to see your god of death thing. I don't really understand.
He's not.
No, I'm sorry. I know you're a death cleric. That's all I
No,
said.
he's not a deity of death. He is, at his root, a dwarven deity of life. Hang on. I had this. Brain died halfway through that.
Brain died or Thrain died?
Yes. Where'd it go? I had this. Nope.
Just wing it.
Life and dwarven god of life and prosperity.
All right.
But he values the life, and he chose, I should say, I don't know how, me to prevent the death of those I can.
Life and death are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other, obviously. So, where he is the life domain, it's not as if he does not have direct participation in handing you over to death. So, I can see why he would be present in a situation where you may be passing. I can't say as to why you had the dream again these days later, and that it continued. Perhaps there is more information that he wanted to share that he didn't get to before you were raised.
Perhaps.
Perhaps he was waiting for a moment in which you were less stressed. It's not as if you gave him a lot of time of you sleeping.
If only. Just continue sparring.
All right, and after 20 or so minutes of you guys sparring out there, you notice this large shadow rush over you, and as you look into the sky, you see what appears to be a giant bird that is eclipsing the sky. And you see it kind of fly past and then loop back around and circle over the guild hall, and you notice it circling, and it's starting to... It is eclipsing the order, yes. It's starting to spiral downward slightly as it circles over the guild hall.
Nell's just gonna take the broad portion of their axe and be slapping it against their shield, trying to make as much noise as possible to get attention, because is this a threat? Is this just... what's going on here?
Give me a perception
There's something going on, guys. Perception?
Yeah, Thrain can give one as well.
Big bird, scary.
It is.
Big bird, what does it do?
Thrain, you see this bird. Give me a animal handling, nature or history roll. Dealer's choice. You see this large bird, and it doesn't seem of otherworldly or necessarily magical origins. It just looks like a big fucking bird. And as you're watching it, you see it kind of swoop down until it's about 10 feet above the roof of the guild hall. And you see it drop something, and it lands right on the main porch. And as it does, it swoops down, and you see it fly back off towards the eastern skies. Roddrick, as you're sleeping, you would hear this loud boom that would basically jolt you out of sleep.
Sit straight up, point guns at whatever's moving.
Unfortunately, that's Kip.
Poor Kip.
As you sit up, you would see Kip like reach under his pillow, and like he's sort of leaning still, but like you see him looking around as well. Ooh.
They kind of like gestures with his eyes towards the door and starts making his way out of the bed. And just assuming he's following the lead, they're just, I guess, kind of both gonna like cautiously make their way out towards the noise.
All right, cool. Desmond, if you're in your quarters researching, you would have heard that too. Just a loud thud.
Desmond's
Shield
like,
clatter was useless. Nobody heard my warning.
Desmond stops riding for a second, flicks his wrist, sends Ava out to go check on it, and continues riding.
That's supposed to be Kip. I don't know why it still says prisoner, like he's not identified.
He's just permanently a prisoner.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's still
That's
real
just how
fucking good.
That's just how he feels. Thrain, as you see something just fall from the sky and land like on the front porch of the order, I mean, what do you do?
What is it doing? Is it moving? Is it just sitting there?
Are you taking the time to wait to see what it does before you move or do anything?
How far away am I from it?
Well, if you guys are training like you normally are, don't you train like out in the back area?
Yeah.
So I mean,
training ground courtyard thing.
yeah, you're basically on the other side of the building from where it hit. It would have been like at the front entrances where you've seen it hit.
Oh, and then I'd be going towards it.
Sure. So are you like rushing, like making a point to get there, or are you just kind of like cautiously heading in?
I'm more rushing.
Okay.
Nell's too.
So as Thrain and Nell, as you two run around the building and make it to the front porch, you would see this large bundle wrapped in like a very fine blue silken cloth, probably about 3 feet wide by 4 feet wide by maybe 6 or so, 8 inches thick, as it's just sitting there, not moving, not doing anything, but just this large object sitting there.
Looking at Nell, didn't Quillwise say he was expecting something from a library somewhere over somewhere?
Christ, if this is... Nope, that's not right. I swear to Doriel, if this is a book. I swear to Christ. Who's Christ?
A new deity has been born.
Fuck! Jesus Christ, activated. I'm sorry. Nell's gonna do a quick set off of Divine Sense to see if there's anything magical about the book. That is, good or evil, rather.
Yeah, so as your Divine Sense kind of ripples through, you don't notice anything inherently divine nor like demonic about it. Yeah, so you don't pick up on any celestial fiend or undead essence within this.
Okay. I can also detect presence.
I'm going
place an object that has been desecrated or consecrated. Okay, sorry, I was just reading out loud. Ignore me.
You're good.
Going to cast Sending. Because I don't know where Quillwise is at the moment. I don't feel like yelling. Quillwise, how did you say your book was getting here? And when were you expecting it?
Trying to count the 25 words. Like a few moments after you send that, the door opens and you see Quillwise running out. So for like Roddrick, Desmond, Kip, as you're like slowly approaching the door where this loud thud came from, you would just hear like Quillwise exclaim like out from one of the other rooms, like, "It's here!" And then he would like start running through the guild hall as he swings open the large doors in front of you guys. And he goes over and he like looks at it and he's like, "Oh my!" Turns, he sees like Thrain and Nell standing there, like, "Will you two please help me?"
Yeah. Walk over.
Let's do this.
Oh Lord.
Okay. There is that button. There it is.
I was really hoping I had the transformation one.
Oh no! Oh, they're both terrible.
We're tired. We've been working out.
Motherfucking book.
We've been working out. Our arms are jello.
Just can't get my fingers under it. We need a stick for leverage.
So this book weighs roughly 200 pounds.
That makes sense.
So as both of you grab this, like trying to grab it by the cloth to get a little bit of a handle on it, like you feel like you're carrying the weight of like a dead person in your hand. And as soon as he sees you guys just sort of like lift it off the ground a little bit, he's like, "Oh, perfect, in here." And he just sort of like walks away with a little pep in his step.
I'm guessing it's just having a struggle.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
inside.
Yeah. You
We
two
are
are...
working on it.
Yeah.
Wait, slow down! My fingers are slipping!
And by the time you guys make it into his study, he has like a desk completely cleared off for it, and he's like, all right, I just need you guys to put it right here. And he's like tapping on the top of a desk that you're going to have to lift it up even higher than you have it right now.
Go ahead, Quillwise. Lift it up. I'll let you. I'll let you help.
You'll let him help?
That's how Quillwise died.
So you guys walking over there, and he sort of like gets underneath it, and he's like, and he sets it down. And then without skipping a beat, he unfolds it, unfolds the cloth from it. And you all see this large, like ebony bound grimoire that has like these speckles of blue that sort of catch the light when you look at it in different ways. And you can see that on the side of it there is a large latch, and you can see that it is magically sealed. And then he like stops and he looks at it and he goes, huh. They did not give me a password.
No book for you.
He just looks
I
at
bet
you with
this
a
is gonna
frown.
Actually be a problem for you.
If you need, I might be able to dispel it tomorrow morning.
No. There's so much fine arcane energy entwined in the pages of this book that dispelling it could ruin it.
Can't say I didn't offer.
So,
Something tells me that trying to force it open would be a terrible idea on this probably extremely expensive book from across the world.
I would fear for the safety of our lives if you did.
So it's not something that we should grab a lockpick for.
Not unless you're exceptionally well with one.
Kip!
No offense, I don't know him enough to let him do this.
Okay, that's fine. Could
Well,
you contact the initial vendor and ask them now, or?
Well, in the meantime, you see him like stand up straight and he like clears his throat. And he like kind of says something almost whimsically in Gnomish. No one speaks Gnomish, right? So he kind of says something. He's like, "Fizan la door," and as he says it, you hear a click as you see the lock flip open, and then he quickly like grabs it and he opens it, and he's like, "Hey, it's only temporary. If I close the book again, it will be locked."
Okay. I guess
What
you
was
just never
that?
closed the book.
Well, the pages could get bent.
Are you gonna lift it off the table?
I lifted it onto the table. And he gives you a little smile.
You had two people helping you, so.
Or, may I say, you had one handsome gnome helping you.
I sure did.
Okay, well, this is exactly what we needed. And now, just a quick little process of translating it over, and then we'll be good to go.
Great.
Anything I can help with.
Do you speak and write the dead language of pure arcane?
Let me think here. I don't think I remember that one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't think that you'll be able to help on this one then, unfortunately.
Fair.
You're free to try if you'd like, but I would caution against reading the words aloud.
Accidentally
Why?
set off an incantation. Should be fine.
Yeah. I'll glance at the page. Gibberish.
It looks like runes. He's like, these are the base components for all spells. And depending on the phrase you say, it may have unwanted complications.
Okay. Well, you have fun with this. I'm gonna go eat some food.
Well, thank you. I will have fun. This is quite enjoyable, actually. But, more importantly, if I'm correct in my guesses, we should have more answers in here.
What do you think? 3 months before you know?
3 months?
Dorian says it's over her shoulder, walking away, half-heartedly saying it.
3 months? 3 months?
Oh, sorry, 3 years.
You're gonna get a different book at the back of your head, aren't you?
I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please, at a DC 21. Oh my god. So, you hear him say something under his voice, and you feel this strange dizziness that you managed to shake off. And, like, as you turn and look at him, he's looking at you with this stupid look on his face, this smile. And that quickly turns sour as he realizes that you actually beat his save. And he's like, you're just a bully. And he turns around and he just starts flipping through the pages.
What'd you say?
You're just a bully.
Oh, okay. Doesn't say anything, just gives him a smirk and walks away.
For your information, he just cast Bestow Curse on you.
Bruh! He was seriously upset about that, huh?
It's just a curse.
It's just a curse he gets to set the terms to.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna stub your toe on every single corner you walk past for the next 3 years.
Oh no, it was much more petty than that.
You're never gonna poop again.
No, that would kill someone. Make it where you can only poop exclusively through your mouth.
Oh!
No, that's not what it was going to be. So he just starts flipping through, and you see him like pull up a chair, and he like jumps up on it, and like his feet are like a foot off the ground, and he's just sort of kicking them as he's just sitting there kind of bobbing to himself, and he's just kind of tracing his finger along here, and he's humming.
Nell does their usual when he gets going into a new project that he's clearly too excited about to think for himself. And they go grab some food and brew him a cup of tea to set beside the book. Not actually beside the book. Pull up another chair and put it beside him so it's not going to possibly spill on the book, because they've learned their lesson about putting things on the same table as expensive books before.
Without skipping a beat, he just kind of like reaches over and he grabs like the dry food you give him and takes a bite out of it and takes a sip of the tea, but doesn't break stride at all. All right. So as he begins doing that, and you all continue your morning routine, Desmond, are you helping cook? Or are you?
Nope.
Okay. Wow.
Desmond's not leaving his room until everyone's done goofing off.
Goofing off, really? Wow.
Just
So
throwing
then-
harmless spells around.
Yeah. Just throwing around curses with DC 21 saves. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
I'm so fucking shocked that you made that. I'm so giddy that you made that.
Like that's so
It helps
petty,
with
and
the
I
plus
love
7.
It does. Alright. Then Talasi would make food for everybody and get everything going. She's kind of like gotten some of the backlog of requests that's just sitting in like the mail chute area, like neatly organized. And like as everybody's eating, she's standing next to Quick Fingers, and she's kind of like, you know, reading over some of the requests that are there, and basically like, you know, putting them into piles of like things that would be something we could easily achieve now, and something that would be, you know, saved for later that, you know, wouldn't be feasible for him to do by himself. And then if there's any that they come across that maybe clues towards what you guys are doing, they're going to set that aside to its own pile, obviously. But most of the things right now are just sort of the run-of-the-mill, like, need help with, you know, a wild animal, looking to bolster defenses against bandits, things like that. Before you all head off, is there anything that you want to accomplish today?
Now, for the claw daggers, do they take 1 or 2 successes?
They would take 2 successes because they are a +1.
Are they all +1s or just the fancy?
Oh, just the one with the +1, huh? So they're just regular daggers?
I think so.
If they're just regular daggers, then they would just take the 1.
Okay.
I thought they
then-
were all +1 daggers, but yours was just had that special condition for both types of crits.
Let me double check real quick. Oh no, they're all +1 daggers.
They're all
If you
they
do-
are +1s.
Yeah, if you look at the regular claw of the order and then the one with
Yep.
the asterisk next to it, they're both +1s.
I don't have. I just have dagger +1, dagger, and claw of the order. I don't know if the dagger +1 is supposed to be claw of the order.
No, look in your actual inventory.
Hmm?
So underneath your boots of Elvenkind, there's claw of the order, and then underneath it, claw of the order with an asterisk.
I see.
That's the one you have equipped. The other one you just have in your bag.
Okay. Do I have regular daggers? I do have regular daggers. That's
You have
why
2 of
that-
them,
Yeah.
and you apparently have them equipped too for some reason.
I don't know why.
You
They're
just
going in
got
the
them on
bag.
your belt so you can
You're like
throw them
dagger,
if you
dagger,
really
dagger,
got to.
dagger.
Why did these? No. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, whatever.
Open up your trench coat. Just dagger, 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 dagger.
I mean, comes down to it. Gotta have backups. And so I'm gonna finish that dagger.
So if you're prepping to go, like getting things ready to go, you are not going to have time to do any sort of
Okay.
crafting or anything.
Yeah, I know then.
All right.
Is Thrain going to be going to the church and doing any praying today?
Every morning in Trudid, not Durian.
Be a long trek.
Yeah, it would.
Every morning I take a 1-week trip.
I can't leave.
All right. I guess that morning, Roddrick will be sitting behind you, waiting for you to finish doing your prayer thing. He's just sitting there cleaning his guns.
Just so you know, my prayers are all in Dwarvish, so you wouldn't understand a single problem unless
He's
you.
not trying to
Okay.
He's not trying to understand. It's fine. All right. You done with the whole prayer thing you were doing?
Side note, I have to sneeze. It won't let me. I can't sneeze. I'm sitting here, finger hovering over the mute button. Like, do I need to mute? Do I not need to mute? Do I need to mute?
Brain's possessed.
Roddrick's like, you done praying? He's like,
All right, not a good time. Got it.
He's
I'm
probably
sorry.
it off now.
Do you say this after he gets up or while he's still sitting there?
After he gets up to make sure that he's like actually done.
Okay. I am.
Good. Okay, so like, I'm trying to understand how this works. Okay, so you practice like cleric, magic-y stuff, right?
Yes.
And you get your powers from like some form of deity, right?
I do.
Okay, which means that you have some sort of connection with that god, and if that god was not present, then you would not have any power.
Have you spoke to Nell recently?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No, I am very connected with my god.
Is know your god? What? Huh? I'm confused.
Pray to me.
It last night I had a continuation of a, I don't want to say dream, because it happened when I was dying in the jail, where I saw my god. He spoke to me, and there was a continuation of it last night. That's why, and I was talking with Nell about it this morning. That's
Okay, so I'm guessing that dreams are one of the ways you communicate with your god?
The first time is when in the jail he told me it was not my time and sent me back as I saw Desmond over me, waking me up. So that's the first time I've ever seen him in a dream. And then last night, of course, was different. I'm still trying to process that.
Okay. Would your god be in the same, like, pantheon bracket as Reyna?
Cliff?
With a 6 for your religion roll, you don't really know the pecking order of any of the deities outside of like your god. That's never been something you've concerned yourself with, so you don't really know where Reyna would fall in that whole grand scheme.
I know that Reyna's. What's the new gods? One of the new is one of the new gods, whereas Moradin is an old god.
Oh, and you like your god's like an old god or something?
Yeah, he's the god of dwarves, pretty much. To put it the simplest way, he's a dwarvish god.
Shit.
And so I can't really say where that lies because I'm not big on studying religion. I'm just kind of
Just the guy who gives you power. Yeah, I get it. How much practice did it take before your dwarven god started talking to you? Or is it like a crisis situation where like you got to be at the brink of death, and then they start like coming to you. Is that how that works?
I mean, I started getting my powers by 20 years ago, but they were small, barely anything. I couldn't actually cast any spells, but it was small stuff. And then only recently, right before I made the trip south, could I actually start casting spells.
Okay, so you said 20 years ago, but how much practice before you got to that point?
I mean, my mother was a cleric, so she was trying to help me as much as she could, but as great as my parents were, my father, being the barbarian he is, didn't really believe in it as much.
Okay, is there like a shortcut or a fast track to being in good with a god? Like, I need to cut through all the like parental descendants and passing down. I need to go straight to being able to like communicate with one. So, how do I like speed up this process? Like, what's the like quick way?
What's going on? Why?
I've been like trying to like bake cookies and stuff and give offerings to this Raina god who's supposedly a daughter of Roddrick, because I want to see like if there's anybody who's going to want him back. Ideally it would be his daughter. I'm hoping that they were like on good terms or some shit. I don't know, but maybe we can get some answers as to which direction we should go with this. If she says like, hey, this guy's a fucking asshole, it's good he's gone, that's a direction that I can go off of. If she says there's a reason why they took him out of the picture before they started all this other bullshit, okay, that's also something that we can go with. But the gods being around to give, you know, clericy folks powers but not exactly helping us is not helping us. And, you know, when we go in the face against gods and Beradrills and all this other shit, and then I cannot express how much I'm just a fucking human, and I'm going to be sitting here looking at a giant 15-foot god pointing a gun at them, they're going to laugh before they step on me. So maybe at least one of the gods who has the most interest in possibly seeing him come back, maybe there's a faster way to get her attention. Maybe she wants to but can't. Like, is okay, dreams. So came to you after you were like dying, and then Desmond brought you back. So what if I shoot myself and then I start dying? Maybe she'll come to me and then you just like bring me back before I'm like dead, like, you know. Like,
Roddrick, as you say this, you look out of the corner of your eye and you see this little old lady who's sitting in one of the pews, and she's just staring at you.
You have a blank face from Thrain during this whole thing. Just
oh fuck, sorry, old lady. Shit, my bad.
She gets up and walks away.
I grab your arm and drag you out.
What? I said I was sorry.
Wait until we're out.
You guys walk past her as she's slowly making her way towards the exit, and she sees you and she stops and just kind of like steps into one of the pews.
My apologies, madam. He is, if you couldn't hear, confused. You keep walking.
Yep. God's blessings and all that.
Yeah, she like clutches her like holy symbol as you say it and walk by.
All right, so what do you think about that plan?
I think I pull Nell and non-lethal you with this warhammer here.
Would that be enough?
No. I'm saying it's a stupid idea.
Okay.
It's something where it takes time. You have to be on it. If you notice, every morning, myself, Nell, we pray to our deity. And it's something, we're not always asking for favors. We're not always asking for guidance. It's a lot of the time we're thanking him for what they have given us. And it's just something that's going to take time, and it's not something you can quickly change, because if it was something where it could quickly change, then everybody would be able to have magic, because the gods would just give all their magic away. Because if it was easy, everybody can do it.
Oh, no. I'm not looking to gain magic. I just want to talk to her.
Why would a well-respected, powerful deity choose to talk to you? Yes, you tried to give an offering once, and yes, or twice, and yes, sometimes you've prayed. When they have people day in, day out giving offerings, praying, what makes you special?
The way my grandpappy used to say, there are people who just sit around praying, asking for the gods to fix their problems. Then there's others who just go out and become the thing that they would be praying for otherwise. So, something along those lines. It was more fancy and old when he said it and sounded like wise and shit. So, like, there are people, I'm sure, that have powers like clerics and other magic-y folks that stand to gain from magical abilities from Reyna. I'm not one of them. I'm not asking to be one of them. I am not waiting around for her to come back and fix the problem, because if she could, she would have done so by now. I am apparently directly involved in whatever this shit is between demons and devils and gods and shit and whatever, and we are in a unique position to actually do something. And apparently, with all of the great powers going on, us mortals are caught in the middle, because somehow we can affect something that they cannot.
Just so you know, all the while we've been walking, been slowly guiding to where I hope Nell is.
Nell is at their father's grave.
Yeah, no. Seeing Nell there, I'm like, I'd walk
Never
away.
mind. We'll beeline elsewhere, because something's happening.
And no, I got something important for you.
Yeah.
Nell, can you please talk to him? Thanks, bye.
Yeah, no, it's
Do I see Nell?
So it's an interesting question.
I take Roddrick out the front.
I'm about to say Nell would be behind the church and like the resting spot of like where the warriors and whatnot would be. So if Thrain didn't know that Nell was there and Thrain was slowly leading Roddrick towards where he thinks Nell would be, I assume that you'd be walking further away from the church so you would not see Nell.
Damn it.
So I guess the real question is, where did you expect Nell to be?
Somewhere in the guild hall.
Okay.
Hopefully, give me just a second. Training.
Okay. So if that's the case, then as Thrain's walking you, you'd be like slowly walking down the main path, like through the gates, in front of the guild hall, and then eventually probably around the southern edge of the guild hall towards where the training grounds are at.
I need answers. Where's Desmond at?
Same place he said he was going to be.
Okay. I'm gonna go bother Desmond.
Shit.
Yeah, then you would, break away from conversation with Thrain and head inside and.
It was mid-sentence. Thrain's just saying something, and Roddrick's like, I'm not getting anywhere with this. He just leaves.
Yeah, he's not giving quick enough answers. I need something fast. And he's like, oh, years and study. Nope, not what I need. No.
Sorry, a bear was going crazy.
It's all
Like
good.
actually barking at something.
I picture Thrain having like some profound statement, like he's saying, of like, and if you have just years of dedication and you dedicate your life to it, then this motherfucker left in the middle of me talking.
Where did he leave me?
Into the guild hall to go find Desmond. You wouldn't know that, but
No, I'm saying at the guild hall he would have left.
well, yeah. So if you guys were walking, if your intent was to lure him to the guild hall, you're walking down the main path through the gates in front of the guild hall, and then like going around the southern outskirts of it to where the training grounds are at. And you'd be like talking and walking with Roddrick, and then all of a sudden, like in the middle of a sentence, you like turn over to like get visual confirmation that he's listening. And he's just gone.
Cool. I'll wander off to Elsbrand City, see if I can help out anywhere.
Okay.
Desmond.
The door's open.
All right. Opens it up, walks in. Okay, let's try this again. So Thrain was giving me like the most long-winded answers to say no. Okay, so arcane magic, that's what it's called, right? That's what you do?
I dabble in a lot, but my main study is on arcane, yeah.
Okay, so is there any overlap with whatever the god magic is that like Thrain does?
That's actually my area of expertise. I've learned to mimic some of the things he can do with my potions.
Perfect. Okay, you might be the guy I'm looking for. Okay, so I need a shortcut, super fast, doesn't take years or praying every day way of talking to a god. What you got for me?
Talking to a god shortcut.
Yes.
Are you trying to be religious?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so. Yeah, there is a way. You're not gonna like it.
You're giving me better answers than I got so far. So what you got?
Offer something up to one. Make a pact with them.
I
You don't have to do
stuff.
No.
No.
Those are offerings. You need to make a pact with a god or a being. You offer something. They take something in exchange for what you want.
Oh, God.
There
Is
is
it stuff that they want that I can live with? Because, I mean, there's one thing that immediately comes to a man's mind that I don't want to lose.
Give me that, dear.
There's a legend back home of someone offering their afterlife. At the brink of death, he offers his body. The being switches to his body, and then he just loses who he is. Or you can offer a limb. If you have something that no other being has, you can offer that.
Why does a god want a limb from a human? What is this gonna like sit there and rot and or they like wear it around their necklace or something? Like what is the point in that?
Well, the guy, the person, it's a story, but he offered his eye, and the god was able to replace it and see through it whenever he wanted.
You know what? Cool. You know what? Gods are already writing shit all over my body without my permission anyway. All right, fuck it. Let's do it. So the target is Reyna, the god of Vardrox or something. I don't know. Whatever the fuck she is, I need to talk to her. Can you like tell her I want to strike a meeting and I will offer limbs, fingernails, or whatever the fuck she's into?
I know nothing of that god, so I wouldn't know what would pique her interest.
Do gods come to like a negotiating table before they form this pact? But like, hey, I want this, and I say yes, no, meet halfway.
I don't know. I know that people.
You're drifting to these Thrain answers. I need more Desmond answers. Give me some positives.
If people have something worth offering, they offer it up for sometimes power, sometimes knowledge, sometimes riches. But I don't know how to get the process started.
Okay, brink of death. I proposed that to Thrain. He was saying like it's a bad idea or some shit. But you're saying that it worked for this guy so he could like offer his eyeball. Eh?
Yeah, I feel like once you get truly desperate and plead out, your screams are heard a little better. A normal scream isn't as convincing as an actual scream from someone that's about to die.
Wow, gods are fucked up. Okay, whatever it takes. All right, let's get this going here. And all of a sudden, like, his other him steps out, like, ready?
Don't do this in my room.
Just mist of blood. It's too late. He's already shot himself in the head.
Oh, we got this.
I gave you the information you needed. Go with Nell. Go with Thrain. They're better at divine healing. Maybe that might trigger something. I'm just gonna pour a potion on you.
Does that make a difference in the pact or the meeting or?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't done this. It's all that I've read about.
Okay, fine. I'll go find Nell.
Thank you.
Thanks, Desmond. And the two of them walk off.
Desmond
Going to
looks
find Nell.
over to Ava.
God.
Yeah, he's gonna kill himself. He keeps going back to his book.
Do.
Are you hunting for Nell now?
Yep.
Okay. Nell, how long are you like staying at your father's gravesite?
They are kind of just sat beside it, and they're sort of monologuing about everything that's happened, and they'd be there for a good amount of time as they're saying things that they wish they could say to their dad and asking questions that obviously aren't going to go answered.
Okay. Roddrick, as you're searching for Nell, are you like walking around going, Nell, hey Nell, Nell? Or are you just looking?
He's just looking.
Okay. I get the feeling that Roddrick probably wouldn't be checking the graveyard for them.
I mean, he'd ask around if he sees like anyone around. Like, hey, have you seen Nell? Huh? Over there? All right.
Give me a straight either intelligence or investigation, I guess.
Got you. Excel in intelligence.
Okay. Yeah, you're wandering all around looking for Nell. Thrain, what do you go do after you break away from the Roddrick conversation? Besides talk on mute.
Simple task, trying to help out around town. Something
Okay.
not stressful, hopefully.
Okay.
3-year-old lady needs more help with shelves.
What time did you guys intend on heading out for the day?
Good point.
3 hours ago.
Yeah, good point.
Nell just did their normal morning routine, ate breakfast, and is talking to her father's grave, and then is planning to say bye to her mom and Quillwise.
Okay. So, a couple hours before what would be like lunchtime, Nell would be making their way back out, and Roddrick, if you're searching for them, you kind of wandering through Trudid a little bit, you would see down the way, coming through the northern gates towards the guild hall, Nell walking from the direction of the church.
All right. The Roddricks will pick up their step and run towards them.
Do you guys race each other? I bet you I can get there before you can.
No, but it's just that kind of weird, uncanny, both running at the exact same time, the exact same way. This is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking on the ones and twos together. Just.
Now, all right. Been looking for you. Whew. All right. So, got a plan. Going to make a pact with a god. So I'm going to bring myself to the brink of death. And Desmond said that you would know how to make sure that happens because you have god magic or something, and I don't know. But anyways, if you made a pact with a god before, is that your thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
One, you never know what you're ending up making a pact with. That could be a devil. 2, my magic is of my own. My oath is what gives me my power, my willpower, my drive. My magic does not come from a god. It comes from within.
I am pretty driven to speak to this god, so does that work?
There's no guarantee that any being that you call out to, be it at the brink of death or otherwise, is truly going to be a god that you're making a pact with. Sometimes it could be something less friendly in disguise. But you're welcome to try your hand, and I'll make sure you don't die.
Who's your god?
Doriel, god of justice.
How do you know it's Doriel and not a devil in disguise?
Because I don't actually actively have any contact with him. I go to his temples and pray, and I've read his books.
What temples do we have around here?
The Omni Church.
Isn't the Omni Church like a pick your god type thing?
Yes, it's an all of the above church. We don't have one for specifically Doriel or
Does that
Rain's
include
god whose name begins with an M.
Does that include devils or just gods?
That includes just gods. No, you're not killing yourself in the church.
That sounds like the best way to do it, so I make sure I'm not talking to a devil. That's what you said. And without that response, they both start taking off towards the Omni Church.
Nell's leaving them. Nell went, I told them not to, and this is no longer my monkey or my circus. If he just goes and fucking shoots himself in the middle of the temple, that's on him.
How far is the church, Cliff?
It's right outside the northern gates. It's where you were talking to Thrain at.
Yep, perfect. All right,
We
he's
weren't far
walking
from
in,
you,
and
man.
Oh yeah.
he'll pop a squat next to that old lady. He's like, looks over, gives her a head nod. Like,
Blows his motherfucking brains out.
Oh no.
She fucking sticks around.
all right, then he like puts his hands like he's like getting ready to like pray or something like that, and then his echo double takes out a sword and slides it across both wrists, and he just sits there as the blood is draining, just waits. All right, Raina, be there in the moment. He's concentrating really hard on Raina. Yep.
Is he saying anything else, or is that all he says?
He's like, all right, Raina, your new faithful servant here to make a pact. Ready to cut a deal, whatever you want. I give you a great deal. Sacrifice eyeballs, toenails, what you need. I got it.
The old lady like freaks out and begins bandaging your wrist.
No, stop. I'm making a pact. Go get your own.
Go get your own!
Give me a persuasion or intimidation roll. If you do intimidation, you can do it with advantage just out of sheer fucking lunacy.
Perfect.
God, I think it would have actually worked out for you if you would have got that nat one.
She like runs off, and you hear her yelling for help as she runs out the door.
Oh my god. Is there a way to lock the door?
Yeah.
Perfect. This double gets up and goes and locks the door. Fucker. Ruined my pact.
Oh, fine. I like your idea now. I don't like the roll though.
What are you doing?
I'd made a perception check to see if Nell noticed the old woman running out of the church screaming, and
Nope.
They definitely didn't.
Nope.
I don't know where Thrain actively is at the moment.
I don't know, but just wherever I am, do I happen to hear someone screaming help? Because that's what I'm there to do.
Thrain is helping right now.
Yeah.
So if you would have, what would you have done after you stopped the conversation with Roddrick? Would you have went back into the guild hall and started like packing, or would you went back to the city to try to find like busy work?
Yeah, remembering that we do have to leave some point today, I'd be going pack.
Then you probably would not hear this little old lady running out of the church.
Cool.
Asking for help. You got a 17. You do not hear the old lady.
I really want this to work out for you, John. Just saying.
This is the foolproof plan.
It's not gonna be rain.
Like not even like to multi-class or anything. I just want Roddrick to have a pact with like, something.
Oh gods.
John.
Yeah.
Give me a Constitution save, please. Actually, don't even do Constitution save. At the very bottom of your character sheet on the main page, give me a death save, please.
Actually.
Hey, we want that, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing, right?
Give me another death save, please.
No problem.
You're doing great.
Exactly. He's like, man, Raina better hurry up. I'm starting to feel a little loose.
Imagine your echo flickering in.
Well, actually, as soon as like you get to that unconscious state, like the echo would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just you in this barricaded church. Couple candles lit are basically the only lighting, less like some of the light coming in through a single window on the wall. And like you're starting to see fuzzy, and like as you're looking at like the candles, you're starting to see like the images sort of split a little bit. Give me another death saving throw, please.
So you're saying that rain is coming. he totally still sees the echo there at this point. Damn it.
All right.
Ain't dead yet.
Give me another death save.
One more success, and you are. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say you would be right at death's door.
So as you're sitting there, like your wrists like over the pews, just sort of slowly leaking out down the back of the wooden seat in front of you, you start to like feel yourself like swaying and not even being able to hold up your own body at the moment, and you see like this vague image of like a cloaked figure like walking towards you, and then you black out. You come to laying in the middle of the church. Vision's blurry. It's even darker in there than what you remember it being. And you see this cloaked figure that's sort of like sitting on one of the pews, like sitting on the back with their feet on the seat part of it. And you're just laid out on the floor. And they have their hands on their knees like this. And they're just looking at you. And as soon as they see you start moving, they're like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, that's what my mom used to say. I'm sorry, who are you?
What do you want?
What am I seeing?
You're seeing the silhouette of a hooded figure that is just sitting on the pews.
Okay. What do I want? I need a conversation with a particular god to get some answers. Have you seen any gods around here or know anything about pacts and gods?
Yeah. Yes. I see gods all the time.
You do. Wait. Like real gods, or are you one of those crazy people that walk around mumbling to themselves? Because I'm not one of those types.
Says the crazy person that was mumbling to themselves, that's laying on the floor with both their wrists slit.
Yeah. I'm setting up a pack meeting.
Listen, make it quick. Why do you want to talk to Raina?
Because I am told by a very reliable source that she is the daughter of a very important person that I may or may not be trying to help get back to the material plane, because it's a long story. There's a lot of gods and demons and wars and hells and stuff. And I need help. I'm caught in the middle of this, and I am a human. I'm not important enough for any of this, so figured maybe if anybody, Raina in particular, might have some investment in the outcome of all this.
And what do I get in return for setting up this encounter?
What do you want? At least you're asking. The other person just started writing stuff on my chest and back and wherever the hell else. You don't even want to know some of the places this writing is coming up. But anyways,
You see the figure like reach into their pocket and they pull out like a stopwatch. They look at it for a second and they're like, "You have 1 minute. I want to know all about that.
all about what?
All of the things that you were just telling me. Why are you involved with this?"
Okay, 1 minute. Oh boy, I gotta compress that down. Okay, I am from a human village that is just out of the way. We don't bother anybody, but I'm kind of doing this to uh, make amends for some bad deeds that I've done in the past. And I joined this order, and they were supposed to be the good guys who go around and help people. But then all of a sudden, they all got killed by this thing, and we kind of died. But then we got brought back, and turns out there's another demon or devil or something that wants us to accomplish things for them, and that's where the writing comes from. And one thing that I just know is that whatever's going on, everything was peaceful before this all started happening. And if they took this entire city off the board, they had to have done it for a reason. And we are gravely outmatched, and the gods aren't speaking to us, and we need help.
And what is this being that you speak of that did the things to you?
Fuck, John doesn't remember that thing's name. What is it?
Zendraxius.
Yeah, Zendraxius. Zendraxius. Yeah, there we go.
Interesting. He like sits up and like changes posture altogether, more straight up, kind of has one leg folded on the knee of the other one. And he's like, and what are you hoping to accomplish by speaking to Raina?
I'm sure she has all these followers and everything. I'm not going to pretend like I was this long follower before this, but at this point, with all of these gods that I had no idea existed, all of a sudden coming out saying that they want us to do these things for them, that is the only god that I can logically see myself trusting right now.
Well, I can't make a promise on speaking to her directly because it's not possible yet.
Okay.
You see, when Dracarius left, the gods left. And I don't quite know why, but I'm definitely going to find out. That's actually why I'm here. Call me a third party with a vested interest.
You're not a devil, are you? I was warned about you might be like fake or something in disguise or something. I don't know.
Through like the veil of the silhouette, you see a smile on their face, and they said, "I've been called one before. It's not what I prefer to be called, though."
All right. Well, what is your name?
Well, we don't need to operate on a name basis. All you need to know is I'll look into setting up this meeting for you. And I'll think about what the payment's going to be. But in the meantime, next time you want to talk, you see him pull out a coin. Leave this heads up on a table, and I will find you. And if the situation is particularly dire, leave it tails up. But I warn you, don't leave it tails up unless it's dire. And he flicks the coin up in the air towards you. And as you like reach up and like grab it and you look back to where he was at, he's gone.
Fuck.
And around this time, like, Roddrick's probably been gone for 30, 45 minutes from when you last spoke to him now.
So at this point, Nell just throwing their head back, but like, you better not have actually fucking done it. And they're starting to like circle back and head towards the church. Like, what is this idiot up to?
Yeah, and as
They
you
were
start
hoping
heading
that
your
he
way,
would not do it because they weren't there.
as you head out the northern gate to start walking towards the church, you see a small crowd gathered around the church, and you can hear them sort of like banging on the front door as they're trying to open it up.
Oh hells! Now they're running.
You hear some commotion, and you hear this old lady like, and then the second one cut the first one's wrists, and then I tried to bandage it out, and they were flailing around, and so I ran to get help.
Any first level windows?
No, there's only one window in it, otherwise it's this door here. Give me a perception check.
Shame.
Yeah, so you see the main door, and you see one window on the side that's probably about 9-10 feet up on the wall, and it's a large, like, ornate window. But other than that, you don't see any other way in.
Do I know of any back doors or side doors to this building, or is it just one way in, one way out?
Yeah, sure, there's probably ways out back where they would, like, if they were doing some sort of, like, service, that they would take the body out the back way.
Nell's gonna go around to the back.
Yeah, sure. You go around to the back. The door would be unlocked.
Yep.
You make your way back through, like, the service area, wrap around to, like, the main opening, and you would see at this point Roddrick sort of just, like, sitting up, sort of, like, slumped over a little bit on the ground, and, like, just from the soft flicker of candle lights that are in here, you would see, like, a dark wetness on the pew to his right, and there's a very strong smell of iron in this room.
Yeah, top speed running over and hitting him with all of their lay-on hands.
How much can you do, max?
We're level 5, yes?
Yes.
So I believe it's 25 off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's 5 times your level.
Okay. Because they currently have 44 points of damage to them. So...
Yeah, equal to 5 times your paladin level.
All right. So as you run up and, this sparkle of, like, brilliant light fills the room, Roddrick, for a brief second in, like, your daze, like, you just had this encounter happen, you reach up, you catch the coin, you look back, the figure is gone, you sort of look around, and then all of a sudden, like, basically immediately after, the room just lights up in this bedazzle of color for a moment, and then all of a sudden you just feel this warmth rush through your body.
I'll say this, but it's been discussed that Nell's magic is more of a black hole, where it's if darkness could glow, because it is absorbing the light from around it. So it went pitch black for a second.
Okay. I will update my thoughts on this here. Yeah, I keep forgetting that you're not actually channeling Doriel's magic.
Yeah. It might be divine, but it is still just...
Well, Doriel's in general has, like, that brilliance of, like, color.
Right.
So... Yeah, so then I guess that changes the tone of it a little bit then, Roger. You're sitting there, you see the figure, you catch this, and all of a sudden all the light gets sucked out of the room for a moment. And then all of a sudden you just feel better.
Slap!
What the?
What is wrong with you?
Looks down his wrist. Not much anymore.
I assumed you were going to drop it and not do this.
Well, it worked. You're welcome.
And what knowledge did you gain?
I am going to have a secret meeting.
And who or what, pray tell, did you talk to?
That's between me and my friend. We're not on a name basis. Or...
Yeah, no. Nell's just shaking their head like...
This guy's good. Can't get a read on him.
Fine then. Keep your secrets.
Alright. Gets up. Dusts himself off. Alright. I gotta go tell Desmond that this worked and ask him what the next step is.
They grab the back of his collar and pull him back. No, you're going to clean the church that you just desecrated with all of your blood.
What? Isn't that what they have, like, nuns or something for?
No. Nell's grumbling as they walk and, like, open up the door.
You hear, like, everybody sort of exclaim.
You know what? We'll make this even quicker, because I need to go see Desmond anyway. We'll have him do that press the digi thing that he's always talking about. Boom. Gone. Clean. All right. I'll be right back with Desmond. Starts heading off.
And Nell's playing crowd control, charismatic individual, like, everything's okay, everything's under control.
That's the him right there. That's the one that did it.
He's okay, I've healed him, and he's been spoken to. He's off to get supplies and personnel to clean up the mess that he made.
Give me a persuasion roll. At disadvantage, I think.
That tracks.
And like as you say that, like this just eruption of chatter, just like 10 different voices all saying different things are surrounding you as people are like, you can't let that happen in a church. You can't just do that and let him walk away. Here's someone like, he assaulted that woman.
Nell slams the butt of their axe into the ground. It's just like, would everyone just calm down? I cannot hear you if you're all screaming. This will be dealt with. I promise you that.
All right, and as Nell's doing damage control, Roddrick, you make your way back to the guild hall to get Desmond.
Yep.
Nell is
He's
going
just
to
opening the
check
door
with
this time
him.
since he got permission last time. He's just, hey, Desmond.
He's pooping.
Been gone a while.
Yeah, good news. It worked.
Not that long.
So I met somebody who's going to set up a meeting with Raina, and we're going to discuss, like sacrifice and stuff, all that later. But the meeting's set. Oh, and there's like a bunch of blood in the Omni Temple. So if you can come like press a digit that real quick, because people like freaking out or something.
Desmond like closes his book and attaches it to his hip. I'll deal with that if we leave.
Okay, because like Nell's talking to people right now. They're like pissed off or something.
Yeah. Hey, that's the leader's job. He like throws his coat on.
Good point.
Grab your stuff. I'll clean the church. We're leaving as soon as I'm done. I'm done waiting.
Okay, I'll go get my stuff. It'll take a minute. He heads off to get his stuff.
Desmond's gonna go out fully geared up because he doesn't want to fucking touch any of this shit.
You walk out there to see this small mob like surrounding Nell, and Nell like standing there speaking very sternly to each of them.
Desmond's gonna walk by, like hand on Nell's shoulder, lean in. As soon as I'm done, we're leaving Trudid, and then walk in.
Nell just kind of like nods to him as he says it, and then goes back to like now they're looking over the woman who was assaulted to be like, no, you're fine, like everything's okay. See, like they don't even need a bandage, but they're bandaging her to make her be less hysterical.
There's blood on me.
Desmond like turns on his heel, taps her real quick, everything gets cleaned, continues to turn, then walks in.
She's like, but that doesn't account for the mental trauma that I had to go through.
Mental trauma gives you fortitude.
I'm greatly sorry for what you have experienced here today, and that it was at the hands of a member of the Eclipsian Order. If there's anything I can do to accommodate you, please let me know.
Well, I think that I deserve some sort of compensation for this.
They're given 3 gold.
Yeah, they're cool with that.
Now everyone's, for some reason, mentally scarred by this event.
Yeah, what about us? We had to hear her talk about the trauma. No one else says that. After you pay her off,
Damn.
Nell does not react to it, and is going to just sigh, go in there with Desmond. Do you need help with anything, or you got this covered?
I got it. You being in here might actually make things a little bit more difficult. And it looks like he's preparing to cast something.
Please don't burn down the church. Anyways, I'm gonna go say goodbye to my mom. I'll meet you in the guild hall.
Okay.
Fair?
Yep.
Just a point of note, after Thrain got done packing, he went and tried to help Quillwise where he could, how he could.
okay,
Just where he's at in the guild hall.
sure. Give me a wisdom check.
Desmond's gonna cast detect magic in the church before he cleans anything.
Okay.
He just wants to see if he can get anything lingering or if there's anything out of the ordinary in the church.
Give me an investigation roll.
It never left that one.
Wow.
So detect magic outside of like the normal like divine magic that you would find. You're seeing no signs of any sort of magic in here.
Okay. I'm gonna say because of the nat 1, he like gets kind of overtaken by the amount of it around him. He wasn't expecting as much. Then in a few minutes, he's gonna clean up and head back into the guild hall.
All right. It's 10 o'clock. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna try to disconnect and reconnect, see if I can fix this. And in that way, everybody can have a bathroom break too.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Okay.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Okay, we're live. Steady bit stream. No weird shit. I'm gonna hit the button again anyways, even though I don't necessarily need to do that again. I just like it. Alright. Hi. Hi again. So, hopefully that solved the issue. Apologize for the bad dropped frames for the last, like, 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes before we went on break. We should be good, hopefully. So, quick midstream recap is Roddrick just pulled an interesting stunt in a church. Nell's doing damage control. Desmond's cleaning. Then everybody's going to pack. Desmond did cast Detect Magic. Did Nat 1 that Detect Magic roll. And was only able to detect like the divine, but like was overwhelmed by how much divine magic there was just from the latent prayers and whatnot, that like trying to discern anything else was impossible for him.
My prayers are too powerful.
Exactly.
A big hot spot right here, dwarf sized.
Jay, it's on my list of things to fix. There'll only be one notification when I go live, not two.
We also just had a lot of dropping in and out repeatedly and having to completely restart the stream, so that probably is that.
Yeah. This should be the last one, hopefully. So yeah. All right. So last minute things. Anybody doing anything else before we head out?
No, it's just saying goodbye to their mother and other than that, waiting for everyone at the front.
Okay.
Where would Taylessie be? Would
Probably
she be
somewhere within the guild hall, reading the messages and sorting them with Kip as was previously described.
Thrain's gonna go say goodbye to your ma too.
No, because at this point, Thrain doesn't know we're leaving now.
I ain't got no daddy.
You want one? Yeah, I mean, I would say just like reading the room, Thrain would know that everybody's getting ready to leave at this point, or like, you know, in advance of this moment happening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we're getting ready to leave, but he's in there helping Quillwise. Does he know it's now? We're leaving now because of someone doing something?
I don't know. I mean, I assume that you'd probably hear Roddrick getting ready, and
Yeah.
at some point Nell coming in and talking to, Telesi, who's probably like one room over from where you are.
Okay. That's what I was asking. It's like,
Oh yeah,
if close enough, overhear it, okay, let's go.
yeah. Um. Yeah, and as you're walking away, Quillwise is like, I much appreciated. Some of the dialect gets confusing at times because it could be the difference between changing someone into a chicken or a chicken into someone. So,
Is that what you're trying to do to me earlier?
no, of course not.
All right. Take care of yourself, Quillwise.
And you. I should have the rest of this done probably by the end of 2 days from now, tops. By the time you all get to Doomscrawl, I should have most of this ready and understood.
I would hope so, because that's a bit of a journey, a little bit further than Durian.
He just kind of like gestures to the book like, yes, Quillwise, that is quite impressive, Quillwise. I know. Thank you.
Hey, it's better than what I guessed at earlier.
He just shoots you a look, and you see him like hesitate for a moment, and he's like, turns around and starts reading again. All right. So, what's the game plan?
Head to Dune Scroll.
Do you guys plan on stopping anywhere along the way, or is it just kind of be like a straight march too?
I mean, there's that little tiny settlement just before that bridge that I'm sure we could spend a night's rest at.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, not really.
Okay. Do any of you have any experience with navigating a desert?
I traveled through, specifically right through there.
It depends on the description of the Shadowfell. A barren wasteland.
Specifically a desert.
No.
Because the Shadowfell, I believe, is cold.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. Where the desert's hot. At night, I might be good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like home.
Okay. Well, are you guys making any special provisions, preparations? Are you guys just going to wing it?
We will grab extra provisions at that small town just before the bridge. They probably sell stuff specifically for people heading into the desert anyways, considering their location. Additionally, filling up those water crystals from the gully fern one last time before we head into the desert. We could totally use those for drinking water, right?
Not what they're meant for, but yeah.
That's called desperate times.
Yeah, sure. And as I
tune to that eventually.
As I alluded to at the end of last session, we're going to do sort of an expedited travel. I don't want it to be a jump cut, but I will say that this is sort of a trip. It would be by horse, 5-day journey or so, assuming nothing crazy happens. I'll call that probably a intermediate distance. So what that means for you all would be, when it comes to like downtime events, 2 downtime events, 2 actual elements, 2 things happening, right? So you all make your trip through, and as you get to that small town, you all reminisce about the last outing that you had with the rest of the Eclipsean Order was here. Where the ruffians were getting thrown out, and the place looks the exact same as it was. Like, as soon as you get there, immediately hit with the nostalgia of it. You get a room there for a night, and the next day you travel across Sylvanus' Mend, and Desmond, you would probably be the only one who's never been there. Has Nell ever traveled this far to the west?
Evans is yes. No.
Okay. So for both of you, as this is your first time, as you cross this bridge, Sylvanus' Mend is a bridge that is about 50 miles long, and it is a single archway bridge, meaning that it is a 50-mile long archway. And as you get to the pinnacle of this bridge and you're standing over Sylvanus' Gap, like, it's essentially a carving into the continent, and this river carves all the way through to Sea Bluff if you cross the bridge part of it, and from standing on top of it and looking down, it basically just looks like a multiple 100-foot fall to a rushing river below. And to like think about this from like real life standpoints, like we're talking like 5 Grand Canyons worth of a opening, like stacked side by side. And the bridge is in just immaculate condition. It almost looks like it's hand carved. And you can hear the echoes of the river below, just sort of channeling their way through this large cutout in the continent to the bridge that you're above. And besides like the water that you hear underneath, the only other thing you hear is sort of a hollow whistle of the air blowing underneath this bridge. You just hear the and after you get to the other half of it, like, it noticeably gets warmer. Like, you start feeling the hot air kicking off of the desert, basically about as soon as the desert is visible on the horizon. You start to feel the temperature change. Almost like as you hit the pinnacle and start heading back down, it just gradually gets warmer and warmer. And by the time you all make it across this, which is like a day's journey in itself, by the time you make it across this bridge, you start to feel the heat turn to chill as the nighttime sky of the desert is this sort of dazzling turquoise blue, right before the darkness of night fully creeps in. And it is the coldest that you have all experienced in your travels so far this night. Maybe not ever, but like as a collective.
So I couldn't help myself, and curiosity got the best of me, so I had to use the power of Google. The average that a human can see on a clear day, visually looking one way or the other, is 33.5 miles. So you can only vaguely see the shores on each side while you are standing in the middle of this bridge. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, and it's a single arch too. No supports in the middle.
That's fucking scary.
Anybody who wants extra lore on it, go ahead and give me a religious roll.
Yes, yes, yes.
Where?
No. Oh, fucking teased.
So Thrain and Desmond, actually really appropriate for Desmond. So the name of the bridge being Sylvanus' Mend is named after the old Fey god Sylvanus, who was basically, they called him the Old Father, and he was like the god of wild nature. Like, he is, in some stories, like the one who birthed the Feywild. So it would almost be fitting that, like, this sort of testament to him would be created and still, like, fully perfectly working conditions. Now, whether you all share that with Nell and Roddrick or not, that's up to you, but that would be something that you would both glean from this.
Obviously, the other elf would know something like this.
It's just incredible. What a beautiful feat of architecture and engineering. How would somebody even build something like this? It's a single arch, no supports. How did they get it so high off the water in the middle?
It's the devotion to the old gods. All these new ones, these fake ones, don't hold a candlestick.
I haven't had the time to prove themselves quite yet.
A thief can keep proving himself over and over again. They're still a thief.
Nell just rolls their eyes. To each their own, my friend. To each their own. I will never mock you in your love for the Raven Queen.
And I will continuously mock anyone worshipping the new gods. Desmond struts off.
This man.
And the one thing that you all notice is, like, the angle of this bridge is built just perfectly in the way that, like, as you're walking, the sun is, like, perfectly overhead. And, like, as you start making it to the end of this bridge, like, the sun is setting, like, directly in front of you.
Desmond's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's that old shit. That's that good shit.
And as you all set up camp, Nell and... Go ahead.
Sorry. I know I had said we would be stopping in that other town to grab supplies. I'm assuming they would have sold the proper things to be keeping us properly warm and protect us from the whipping sun and sands in the day.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking for any sort of gear like that, you'd easily be able to find it.
Yeah, that was something that Nell was looking to do. I don't know how much money you want me to subtract.
I mean, unless you plan on getting anything like elaborate, it wouldn't be.
No.
It would be like 5 silver apiece.
Would a little town like this even sell anything elaborate enough for Desmond?
It's just safety stuff, really.
Probably not.
Okay, Desmond's not getting anything. Oh, it's hot. Personal heating pad or cooling pad. Oh, it's cold. Personal heating pad.
Oh, it's hot. Personal heating pad. Fuck.
Right? Oh, I'm stuck with that for an hour.
So Nell and Roddrick, with this being like your first times, well, I won't say first times. Roddrick, I assume you came this way when you left home.
Yeah, roughly.
So, how much time do you think you would have spent in the desert? Like, if you're coming from Furren, like, if you actually went through Dragon Sands to get here, minimum you're looking at like 3 days horseback that you'd be spending in the desert. But I guess the other thing would be you could always like go like sea bluffing around if you didn't want to go to the deserts or anything like that.
Yeah, being from colder climates, he wouldn't have done well, and so he would have taken the sea bluff route.
Okay. Then Nell and Roddrick, describe for me like how you both handle your first night in the desert, because like you have the things to prepare for it, so there's no like mechanical issues that you're gonna have with it, but like just that strange dichotomy of super hot air all of a sudden turning into super cold by night.
Hate it.
They said that the weather drastically changes from day to night, but I was not expecting it to be quite this extreme. But I suppose with no vegetation to absorb the warmth and hold it still, the second the light's gone, so is the warmth.
Yeah, this does fucking suck.
Absolutely.
Um,
Bundled the fuck up.
for your guys' first downtime event, what's everybody doing?
Crafting, researching, I guess, would be appropriate.
Which is it?
Nell's over here distracting him because they just want to talk.
Bran will finish the dagger.
Oh, another thing, Cliff. With the amount of time Desmond was spent waiting for the rest of the party to like leave Trudid, would that be enough for a downtime event?
Let's call it a DC 15 if you can make it.
Okay.
Good enough. And I guess give me another one if you're gonna do it for your current research project.
Fucking no. Where's my thing? Dang, it's gone.
Look down.
It has to be on a certain thing.
God damn it! That took me a second.
Adam, go ahead and do your roll for crafting your dagger. That works. Is that the first or the second?
That was the second. I had finished the first one at the end of last session.
Okay. Then at that, you would be able to finish your dagger. What's Roddrick doing?
Let's see.
He's out of audiobook.
Let's do ice bullets.
Ice bullets? Sure.
Yeah, that's all you can think about is being not hot.
You get the materials?
Because that might actually be a role for looking for materials instead.
Nah. How much materials does it take?
10.
Uncommon for your magic bullets.
Yep.
Hey, now. Stop. No, I need 10, not 1.
You get absolutely nothing.
Hey, Des.
I don't even have 10.
3.
Persuasion.
Shh, got you. No, that's perception. I perceive victory. That's not how that's supposed to work.
Why don't you look for your own?
Because I've never been to a desert before and I don't know where to look.
You can always try. Let me get rid of this sticky note now.
Or I can try when I'm more back to my natural habitat and then start repaying you for some of the stuff I'm borrowing. Those IOUs you got, same as cash. Mm-hmm.
Give him 5.
Hey, Nell. So I only need 5 now.
That should be easy for you to find.
But I feel like I could be very persuasive.
It's less than a 10. You don't even need to counter roll it.
You literally killed yourself at a church today and then left me to try to calm everyone down.
I got results. We're gonna get a meeting. Let's speak to a guide. When was the last time you spoke with a guide? When's the last time one of your guys dropped a key while you were in prison? Eh? Results guy.
Well, results guy, why don't you have some results looking for components?
Fine.
All right, I'm gonna need one more Tinkerer's Tool roll, John, because I'm gonna use what you said and say, because you don't know anything about the desert, you're at a disadvantage searching for things. So we'll take the lower of the two. 14's still good enough, though. Go ahead and do a roll on the crafting components table.
Easy.
You got 26 uncommon components out of that. Add it to your list. You should have 31 now total.
You know what's fun? He owes Thrain 25.
Thrain, for the ones that I've borrowed so far, so I don't have to pay back as long as I don't fail. That's what he said.
I did not say you didn't have to pay him back.
That's what it sounded like you said.
That's what I heard.
Right.
You smell that? It smells like some bullshit.
Smells like success to me.
All right. I added it to your inventory.
Okay.
All right. And your next day.
So I got RP to do. That's why I said Nell was talking to Desmond.
Oh, my bad, bro.
Eat Fasterson.
He's like, start talking, I'm listening.
Desmond's eating while he works.
Okay.
I like it.
So, as you heard my mom say, apparently I'm getting more in touch with my Shatterkai heritage by the gain of power and maybe the almost dying stuff. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about how my dad was really proud of his heritage. And I'd like to learn more about the Shatterkai, honestly. I mean, you all are going to be coming here. It only makes sense to know more about what to expect and also, I guess, where I came from.
So, when your father alive, I can see. When your father was alive, I can see how near death may bring them in closer to his heritage. But if this just started happening recently, I don't think your near-death experiences are any kind of factor in it, considering our connection to death has been stripped away from us.
Sorry, it's very distracting to see the GM roll 111 out of the corner of my eye.
So
So it probably has more to do with my strength.
possibly, um, I'm not sure when your ancestors split from the Shadow Realm, the Shadow fell, and what all the marking you have entails or its origins.
Well, my marking is from my mother's side, and her grandfather was a Shatterkai. That's all we know. It was a single night with my grandmother to a single night with my great grandmother to make my grandfather. So that's all I know of that bloodline. And from what mom says, my father's bloodline, he is, I want to say, the fourth of the shadow marked, but I'm not positive. So stronger blood on my mom's side, but technically two bloodlines.
Well, typically the markings on a Shatterkai are meant as a stimulant. In the more higher class, they are a marking of your status. And we do have the knowledge on how to embed spells into the ink that the markings go into, but having them passed down through children is not really heard of on our plane.
The way it's been described to me is that somehow as these are generally having to do with the style of them being tied to the family line, yes?
Some in the higher classes, yeah.
The mark is one of the only telltale signs of us shadow marked, the half breeds. It's one of the only ways to obviously tell where we came from, and all of the shadow marked or whatever mark was on your Shatterkai relative is what you get. I suppose you don't have too much knowledge of how it works on the material plane for the blending of the races compared to true ones.
Does your mom have a marking?
The exact same one as now. Photocopy.
No one in, not a soul in the Shadowfell is born with any kind of markings.
Must be some hell of a tattoo. Then, if it somehow, when not mixed with other Shatterkai, stays. Perhaps that was some form of a will of the Raven Queen sort of deal to show that we are still her children? I don't know. It's a guess.
We can think that. But enough of my questions. What do you want to know?
I don't know. What's it like? What are the people like? I mean, obviously, you know what you're like, but that doesn't stand for every single Shatterkai. Like, what's the culture?
I like to believe that we are a very open and inviting people. and
Laughing or is Desmond breaking?
No, I'm fucking up. Hold on.
Oh, I like to believe that we're very open people.
It makes you really feel warm about what's to come with his people, huh?
Okay. Our main point in our city is a trading port where we openly welcome others to come trade with us. Beyond the walls of the trading port, I've said before, our main city, although it's, I believe, rather cramped now, there's very few low quarters. When one of our own is struggling, we give them the tools needed for success, because the way it used to be is if anything happens to them, they're just going to get thrown right back into society. And if we don't help our own succeed, then through lifetimes, they'll just be neglected. And Desmond goes into his bag and pulls out some of his gear. And he lays out his spear, his 2 daggers, and his tome that he keeps attached to his hip out on the table in front of him. The warriors of our people, these are their main weapons. Besides the Raven Queen's select few that we're assuming aren't around anymore. The spears, and he hands over a crystal blackened spear, is held by the Gloomweavers. These are our elite fighters. They specialize in physical and hand-to-hand combat. Then hands over the 2 daggers. The Shadow Dancers used stealth combined with magic in order for them to do combat. They're a lot more slim and agile, and a lot of them are personal taskmasters of the main houses. Then he holds up his tome, which he doesn't hand to you. He keeps it in his hand. The tomes are the weapons of soul weavers. They are mainly magical casters. They had even more blessings from the Raven Queen to imbue the shadows of the Shadowfell with magic. That has almost completely been lost to our people now. It's not something you can learn or teach. It's something that has to be bestowed upon you.
By who?
The Raven Queen herself.
With each thing Nell has been handed, they are very carefully holding them and inspecting, kind of feeling their weights and just looking at how it's been built, forged. There we go. That's more of a word. Before handing them back, but they reach as if they're going to take the book because they've been handed each item, and then when he does it, they just slowly lower their hand, oh, equal.
And after raising the book, he clasps it back onto his belt. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but they say that the Gloomweavers and the Shadow Dancers' weapons grow stronger the more you use them. And they are, if you die as a Gloomweaver, when you are born anew, your weapon is given to you as a child. You keep your weapon. It is eternal. And the myth goes, the more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Are you saying that people get reincarnated?
That was one of the many blessings that the Raven Queen bestowed upon us. Dealing with the souls of the dead and us being her people. Whenever one of us would die, she would grab our souls, keeping it from drifting into the afterlife of being judged one way or another, and it would be put into a new vessel.
Is this something that you've experienced before? Or
I am one of the youngest Shatterkai in all of existence. I am one of, if not the first newborn in thousands and thousands of years of a pure blood. If if the Raven Queen did not pass, then I would have been a vessel.
so I can definitely see why it's so much more traumatic for your people now that the whole vessel thing isn't really happening anymore.
Yes, but also being in this Shadowfell twists you physically and mentally. I said the tattoos were a stimulant. If you lose out on your emotions or your emotions go too far in one direction, you're over.
It has a greater
Your
with
your
this-
heightened emotions twist your physical form. One of my servants who was in a state of depression when all of the other kingdoms started retreating into our walls got so bad that their form mutated, their body heightened about 3 times its normal length, and his hands turned into these giant claws, and he just tried to embrace anyone he can find, crying and pleading for someone to help. Completely able to understand him. He wasn't talking in riddles. He was intelligent, but the curse of the Shadowfell twisted him, and he killed at least a dozen people trying to take refuge into the city. That's one of the main reasons if something is considered a monster, regardless of what it's trying to say to plead for its life, it needs to die.
So, another question I had is you were very on top of the whole keeping everything clean, and you talk of not being sure if this place is safe, but the Raven Queen has been sending Shatter Kai for as long as history is written. Is it just that you're not sure if without her it is truly safe here?
We have records of almost every person who has chosen to come and carry out one of the Raven Queen's tasks, and they all were given a mask.
Sorry, again, this is more of my own ignorance on history of it all. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me about it.
Um, There are 5 major houses in the kingdom right now, and like I said, each of them have their own markings, and none of them resemble what you have. That's why I'm curious if it's of its origin.
I couldn't really give you an explanation. Like I said, my grandfather was born of a single night that created life. So we don't really have any record of him. I don't even think my great grandmother shared his name or knew his name. I don't know.
Did your mother have the same marking as their parent?
Mark them.
That's something I need to look into. After this whole thing with the hag and all that is over, and I deal with my people one way or another, we plan on finding a way to get to the domain of death and taking that portfolio. We hope it doesn't have to be by force, that this child understands that they shouldn't have it. But there are people strengthening themselves in order to fight.
I have no opinion on the matter. There has been so much shuffling of the portfolios. Switching another doesn't really sway me, I suppose. It's all happened within my lifetime. I have watched them change time and time again. I mean, the fact that she's a child takes you aback, but since she's received her portfolio, she's frozen that way. And an immortal child with that much power is likely dangerous for us then. Hopefully it can go peacefully, because I don't see the temper tantrum of a god-wielding power scale going very well.
After my travels with you all and experiencing some of Amethil, I'm also inclined to look into the portfolio of life as well.
Cliff, I'm gonna make a roll of religion to see if Nell knows who holds that portfolio. Is that okay?
Sure. Who holds that portfolio, Sin?
Life?
Huh?
I don't know.
That would be like one of the sub portfolios that Bassett holds.
I thought he was like justice, or not justice, protection.
Yeah, light, and what was it? Light and life, I think it is.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go fucking kill myself. Oh, that's great. So that would be in the hands of the staff. Actually traveled with one of the sons of Roddrick.
Of course, he's involved.
I wouldn't really consider him involved at all with Arkin.
And who is Arkin? The son?
Son of Roddrick. But, like, not with the Queen. Arkin was conceived before Roddrick became king.
And this is all public knowledge?
It's not super duper. I sort of was a little obsessed when I was younger, so any information I could, I took in because he was my hero.
Your hero's the reason we're in this mess. Your hero's the reason my people may go extinct.
I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying that he was ignorant and knowing that he was going to cause such ruckus.
And if I can't complete my tasks, Roddrick will be the reason my people need to take over Amethil. And if he does end up coming back, even if we don't survive, I will laugh at his face at the ruins of his kingdom as he kills me.
Understand what you feel about it. We'll do everything in our power to make sure your tasks go well so that it can be as seamless as a transition as we can get it for your people to join mine. Or my two peoples to come together? I don't know how to word that.
I am very interested that you are of my blood, but it is also concerning listening to you call us your people, but also threaten us from time to time.
I will say that I have learned and grown quite a bit since it all came about. I like to think that there's been change in who I am. In the beginning, I was speaking more from a stance of fear. At this point, I stand as defense. I will defend my home and for my people that raised me. If it comes to violence, I stand with Amethil. That does not mean I will not make sure that your people are safe too. I'd rather everyone be at peace. But of course, we all know that's a child's dream. It's not that easy. But we can try.
You stand on defense now, but I'll admit, fear has been my greatest motivator. Because I seen what Amethil is capable of. But you haven't seen what we can do.
I hope I get to someday. Good night, Desmond.
I'll be up if you need anything else. He looks back at his table. He's like, the fuck was I doing?
And that's why he got such a deep job research. Because now it's like, tell me everything.
I so bad wanted to say, out of the background, you hear a loud snore from Thrain once in a while.
As if Nell and Desmond aren't completely used to that, considering they have much shorter rests than everyone else.
After about 80 snores, it's been an hour.
So, great segue. Thrain, you have a dream again that you are sitting at the table with your family. You're all having a great time. You see the door open and a very strong-looking dwarf standing there in the light. But this time, the mood feels different. The warmth that you were showered in from your previous encounters is replaced with a chill. And instead of your god looking very bolsterous and joyous, they have a scour on their face. And as they start walking towards you, you see them dragging their weapon behind them. And they look to you and say, "Your life, you've wasted your life. You've wasted your gifts. You have no right at this table." And as he raises his weapon, your family who is surrounding you all grab at you and start to push you down towards the table. Can you please give me a strength save to see if you can break through this grip?
That's beautiful. That's great. That is so great. You know how in dreams you never feel like you can move? That just felt so accurate.
I saw that one peeking over there too.
I'm gonna go ahead and give myself an inspiration for that double one. You get caught off guard as your family all grabs you and pins you down. And as your god continues belittling you and walking towards you, just weapon on shoulder, you hear the sound of plates and tankards clatter as he begins stepping onto the table, and he is walking your direction as your family has you pinned down. And he looks to you and he says, Thrain, son of Belric, I hereby cast you out. Your afterlife foregone. And he cleaves forward and boom! As the weapon comes down onto your head, you wake up.
Wake up with a gasp. Sitting straight up. Again, in a cold sweat.
As you sit up, you feel this sort of ache on your neck. Right in the area where you felt the weapon hit you. You feel like the imprint of that giant, like warhammer in your neck.
I feel back there. Do I feel?
It's warm to the touch.
Looking around, do I see anything? Anyone up and around, or everybody sleeping?
I mean, fucking Desmond's probably up. Desmond's fucking always up, I feel like.
Looking at you.
Nell did not wake up, as the Constitution save shows.
Thrain looks visibly shaken. If you're looking at him. Like worse than you've ever seen Thrain.
You feeling okay? And Desmond's gonna like close his book and walk over. Desmond's gonna like hold that hand up to your forehead.
Cold sweat.
Oh man, you're not doing too well.
It happened again.
What?
This time was worse. Did I tell you what happened after you brought me back into the prison?
I don't believe so.
I saw my deity right before you brought me back. You welcomed me at my family's table with all my family there. Open arms. But he said it wasn't my time yet. Then, how many nights ago would it have been by now, Cliff?
So how many nights ago?
It was the second one.
Oh, that would have been 4.
4. Was it our first night back at base?
Yeah.
Back at Trudid. And then our first night in Trudid. It happened again. Except this time, he didn't say it wasn't my time. He welcomed me to the table, praising me for everything I've done in my life, and then how I was accepted into death. And that my father was proud of me. This time is different. It was... He cast me out of my afterlife. It's struck me down with his warhammer. Right here, as he reaches back. Is it?
Yeah, you can see, Desmond. You can see a visible imprint of a warhammer. Almost looks like it's a burn on Thrain's neck.
Desmond like removes his gloves and actually like inspects Thrain. You say you got hit in your dream?
Mm-hmm. He said I was a disgrace. I wasted my talents. That I guess I don't have an afterlife anymore.
Desmond's like, as he's feeling on Thrain's back, cast what is it? Cure wounds to see if it does anything to it.
And you said the imprint was hot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as Desmond puts a hand on it and does cure wounds, like it soothes it for a moment, but then you just feel the heat rushing back into it.
And then he's gonna hand you a drink and take this. It may help.
Trust Desmond. Take it back.
And it's just gonna be a lesser restoration. If he has any kind of like sickness or anything right now.
Does lesser restoration help with exhaustion?
No.
That might be greater.
Yeah, I think it's greater.
Yeah. So you drink the potion and you can feel it sort of getting that kind of feeling like you just had like hot tea, like you feel that sort of warmth in your chest as you drink it, and that lingering feeling of just like the heat on your neck is just persistent.
Desmond's gonna get like some cloth from his bag, go behind you and like tie it over your forehead, and he prestidigitations it so it's like a breeze constantly blowing on your forehead. Did anything happen between Trudid and now?
You've been there for everything. That's nothing. Hell, I haven't even cast a spell since we left Trudid.
Have we done anything that you've directly opposed?
No.
Well, Roddrick, I'm sorry.
I mean, speaking of, has anyone told Thrain about that?
I'm pretty sure he got scolded very loudly by Nell a few different times.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he's boasted about it a few different times.
Yeah.
This guy gets me.
Did I mention though that I got a meeting set up with a god?
Right, and when he was asking Nell for components, they were like, no, because you killed yourself in a church, and I had to take care of all the bullshit.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it'd be a harder time for Thrain to not know that it has happened after 1, 2, 3, 4 days of travel.
Yeah, okay. I mean, besides Roddrick. But even then, I told him that was a terrible idea. It wasn't going to work.
Roddrick wakes up out of a sound sleep, but it did.
Doesn't wake up, just in his sleep.
Desmond's gonna pull a knife from his pack and like prick his finger a little bit. Can you still heal this?
Cast Cure Wounds.
Yeah, it heals just fine.
And like, does it look like it should be like bandaged up or anything, or is it fine?
It looks more superficial than anything. Almost like a scar from being burned.
Okay. Desmond's still gonna like do some minor treating to it and wrap it up. Then puts the alchemy jug next to Thrain. I would just make it water, but there, you can choose. There's an option for ale if that'll make you feel better.
No,
But there's a lot of water if you're thirsty.
think I'm gonna take a short walk and just do laps pretty much.
Desmond's gonna distractedly keep working and keep an eye on Thrain.
Just gonna have a sip of water, cool my mind. Oh, what the fuck?
I was trying to be good. I was really, really trying not to say anything.
Anytime he says alchemy jug, that's the first thing my mind thinks of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched all of our faces like, oh. Why is it gotta say mayonnaise in the description? It ruins everything.
How do you delete a magical effect from an item clip?
I don't think you got that power yet.
Everything liquid except for mayonnaise.
Desmond makes his own alchemy jug. It perfectly excludes mayonnaise.
Right?
Why is the 7 button? Why is the 7 button taken off of this thing?
But what time is it roughly?
It is late or early, depending on your definition. Moon is about halfway between horizon and full.
Okay. So he'll be up for the rest of the night.
Sure. So Thrain, with you being up, you start seeing as the sun begins to rise, and like almost as soon as the sun is peeking over the horizon, you feel the heat start building up. Can I have a con save from you, please? DC 15. All right. It should actually be a 17 because you do have one level of exhaustion, but still better than the 15. As you start as you start like realizing that sleep's not happening and like that you need to start getting ready to go, the realization of just how hot the desert is here starts to sink in. As you're all getting ready in the morning, the temperature just steadily climbs. It's by the time breakfast is over and your morning routine is done, it's already 90. As you all pack up and tear down camp, almost immediately after you start heading out, temperatures reach 111 degrees for the day. And it's just blistering heat, accompanied by wind blowing sand at you. Even with the preparations that you've made of being able to block it, I mean, sand gets everywhere that sand can get. Everywhere.
Somehow it's even inside of Desmond's mask.
Everywhere. It's inside of Desmond.
Right up the booty.
And Thrain, as you're walking through, you guys are riding through the desert on a horse with no name. Off in the distance, give me a intelligence save, please. That'll be a 17. As you're walking off in the distance, you see what appears to be this 20-foot tall dwarf standing there in all the adornments that you've seen your god have in any of the pictures that you've seen. Just standing there looking disappointed. And as you turn to face it, you see the mirage start to fade through the beams of heat, and you realize that it's only a rock structure that's some odd dozen yards off in the distance. But his presence is weighing on you.
Thrain's not taking it very well.
How so?
He's just where he'd usually be talking, just small chit chat during these trips. He's not talking. He's just in his own head, noticeably quiet, noticeably grim looking. Just giving short answers when asked questions. Trying to avoid interacting with people.
Anyone know what's up with that? Nell's just quietly trying to not be obvious where Thrain would hear that they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Desmond's gonna like every once in a while ride up to Thrain, like put a hand on his back and prestidigitation, some cold air blowing through him, and like every third time, quiet like any better.
This isn't going to get better. This is... This is something that I don't know how to fix. I've been trying, and to be called a disappointment, a failure. I barely even feel the pain of the scar anymore.
Is this conversation loud enough where Nell can hear?
If you're actively trying and you're close,
Yeah.
but it's more of a hushed conversation. So you would have to actively try to listen.
Desmond will like grip the back of your collar on your armor and like pull you in close to him. You don't have to do this alone, though. You don't have to figure this out alone. We will figure out. We'll get answers.
And
It
because
might be the
because I don't
hag.
feel like yelling in the house, you'll just have. I'm just gonna say this normally. You'll have Thrain snap. You saw what I did to you when you burned the tavern. I failed my family. Right off, farther ahead.
You guys don't need to roll for that one. You heard it.
What the fuck?
So, not that I'm eavesdropping, but what did I miss?
I think something is going on with Thrain and the hag that's severing his connection to his religion. Something happened. I'm not going to go into details, but
This might be the thing that she said to tell him was our fault, huh?
The Thrain. I'm not.
Thrain rode off. You're not near Thrain.
Oh, gotcha.
Thrain is about 30 feet ahead of you guys.
I'm gonna write up and see if I can.
Roddrick about to use that charisma skill.
Right.
Desmond's like, no, wait.
Puts his hand in front of Nell. See where this goes.
There goes our idiot. Watch him as he goes.
Like, Thrain could use a laugh right now, maybe.
I don't think the Thrain's gonna laugh.
He's gonna right up beside Thrain, and he's gonna notice him catching him out the corner of his eye. Like, wait, okay, before you stop me, let me just get this out, and then I'll leave you be. Okay, fair? Look,
You'll see his hand tighten on his warhammer.
everybody is screwing with us, right? They started screwing with me before everyone else in my sleep too. I still don't even know whether I'm awake or not. They're trying to get in our heads and everything. So, like,
I know you don't understand religion. I don't know how close you are to your family. But when you're told you're a disappointment and you've failed, then you can come talk to me.
well, if I'm being honest, I've been told that my whole life. So, Look,
then it doesn't hurt as much. Would you stop?
true. But that's something that would hurt you, not me. So why do you think they told you that and not me? That's all I'm saying. You know, do with that what you will. But if you're rattled, that's why. That's all I'm saying. And he's, starts backing off and everything and holding back to where Nell and Desmond are.
You actually did really well that time. I know words aren't always your strong suit, but you spoke that very well.
Have you not been paying attention? I'm the results guy. That's right.
Yes, you are.
And Thrain, as you're riding off ahead of everybody a little bit, the flicker of a cloth in the wind kind of catches your attention as you look over and you see the remnants of what appears to be some sort of nomad camp that was set up. And in the middle of this camp, you see an area that's been cleared back, where there's like compacted sand. And in the middle of the sand, you see an anvil, and you see that it has been split in half by a warhammer. Very much looking like your holy symbol.
I'm assuming the encampment's something we can all see.
Mm-hmm.
We should check it for supplies of any sort. Can never hurt to have extras in this sort of environment.
Thrain keeps riding. Unless you tell him to stop, he is not stopping.
Thrain, I'm not telling you need to get off the horse, but please don't get yourself lost. Wait up a few minutes. Have a rest, drink some water.
He'll stop, keep his distance. As you guys approach, when you guys are well out of earshot, he's just going to, after everything, sending.
All right. Do you want to say what you send or no?
Mm-hmm. I will.
Okay.
Father, I can't explain, but I'm worried about you and Astrid. How are things? I need guidance in handling a great evil. Should I return? And yes, it is exactly 25 words.
And almost immediately you get a response back that says, "Worry not. We're strong here. Face your evil without retreat. Trust your strength. Return only after you've conquered it. Evil bends its knee to you." Which is also exactly 25 words.
Are you able to send that to me?
Yeah.
So I can actually keep that. I'm not going to be able to remember that.
It's in the
Dad
same
said
note.
some things.
Thank you.
He said things to me that sounded real good.
Right, it sounded pretty profound, but like I don't remember.
Same.
Just nod his head and just watch the surroundings, make sure no one approaches the camp.
Sure. The three of you in the camp, feel free to give me an investigation roll. On the surface, there's really nothing here. It looks like it's just an old camp that's been, reconsumed by the sands.
As usual, Roddrick's just kind of watching their backs while they do their thing so they can focus on that. So,
Sure.
Why don't you ever help?
because smart people need to do smart people things.
Nell ain't smart, my friend. I got a +0.
Better than a -1.
Dumb as shit. Hey.
You find nothing of value within the camp. The only thing that you would make note of, and Roddrick, you would see this too, is the kind of display that stands out amongst everything is that there is an anvil in the middle of this camp, which in itself wouldn't be completely out of the ordinary, but it looks like it's been split in half by a warhammer, and the warhammer is like nothing of note. Like, it looks like a run-of-the-mill, entry-level warhammer. So if anything, it would probably, you would raise an eyebrow at how someone managed to split an anvil in half with that. But there's no significance in that to any of you. You wouldn't pick up on any kind of subtext to it.
Divine sense.
Why would you divine sense?
Why was this encampment abandoned? Is there evil about? Anything that looks even slightly out of place at this point makes Nell go, Rune? Fragment?
Desmond's already packed up and ready to leave. You're like, ain't shit here. All right, let's go.
Your divine sense would have traces of fiend on both the anvil and the warhammer. Yeah.
And with there not really being anything other than the anvil and the hammer giving off anything, Nell would mount their horse, be ready to leave again, be like, that's really weird. Nothing's really of note there other than the anvil and hammer giving off a fiendish aura.
Not our problem.
No, it's just weird. Nell's just riding, just thought they'd mention it.
And Nell, seems how this is the first time that you've really done divine sense, like in the group like this here. You would notice a tinge of undead coming from Desmond.
I mean, Nell has cast us several times around the group.
Not recently, you haven't.
Not recently, no. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm calling it out specifically.
Okay, so it's new undead on Desmond. This is a difference. Tuck that in my back pocket of knowledge for a bit. So they're trying to figure out how to word this.
Okay. Then you all would continue your journey throughout the night. How is Thrain going to be towards the group when it comes to actually setting up camp and whatnot? I'm mute.
See, that's the funny part because I thought I clicked that and I muted myself, and then I was looking at different things. I'm like, oh, I'll mute. Then look, everybody has to survive, and we are in the middle of the desert, so he'll help set up and just be quiet.
Okay. So yeah, you all make camp. Thrain, the one thing of note is that like the heat that you felt throughout the day, like you still feel that in your neck. Like the rest of your body feels the chill of the desert, which for you probably feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
But like that heat of the desert sun, like you still feel it in that one spot.
Okay.
That's a 5.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 4. Oh yeah, 5. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
5.
Backwards brain.
It could be a 4 if you want it to be.
No thanks.
Okay.
It's not going to change anything.
You sure about that?
Mm-hmm. And for me, it's not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fit full night of sleep. Takes them out to fall asleep.
And you all will have your opportunity for any kind of downtime events or anything that you want to do.
I didn't find shit!
Nice.
30-20. All right, make sure you subtract 10 of the uncommon, and that would be your first success. You need one more. And is Thrain attempting anything to keep his mind off of shit?
Let's see here.
Gotta see how far gone is he.
Mm-hmm. No.
All right. So you all fall asleep again. Thrain. You find yourself sitting at the table again. Only this time, the hall is empty. No family surrounding you. The warm bellows of the fire are cold. No food, no drink. And as you sit there, only silence.
What have I done to you? What made me a failure in your eyes, a disappointment?
Your questions are met with only silence.
Why keep taunting me? Dragging me out of the... Dragging me back to life. Back in the prison. Waiting 2 weeks. Why wait so long? Tell me you're proud of me. And then accept me into death when I'm not even dead. Just turn around and banish me from afterlife.
And after a few moments of silence, you hear the tapping sounds of shoes on stone. The door opens, and you see Astrid standing there. And slowly behind Astrid, you see this darkness swell up to this figure standing right behind them. And they wrap their arms around Astrid. And then you wake up. And that's where we're going to end it at for the night.
Well,
All right, good night. Bye. No.
Y'all, there might be a change of plans. Whether you're going with them or not, there might be a change of plans.
I don't think it matters how fast you can travel.
I'll take that month-long trip. Again.
So thanks everyone for hanging out. I apologize for the issue in the middle. That literally I've had 0 drop frames since I did this. So fuck Windows for having an update that can cause me to not be able to stream correctly, which is fucking weird. But you know, it is what it is. I'll make sure that I cobble the 2 halves together before I upload it to YouTube. So if anyone wants to catch it on rerun, you won't have to do 2 separate videos. And then lastly, we'll be back tomorrow night at like 8-ish, 9-ish, whatever time.
It should be 8.
8? Okay. For episode 3 of the Floating Isles of Asteria. Etheria. Got Astrid in my head now. So, you know, stop in, hang out with that. You get to see me not be a DM, which is awesome for me.
Wild and crazy.
But other than that, similar to New Cadence, we will not be streaming, we will not be raiding out because we are multi-streaming to YouTube and to Twitch, and it doesn't play nice when I try to do that. So on that note, just going to call it. Everybody have a wonderful night, and hopefully see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern.